Everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. It's Friday the 4th of December. Thanks again for watching. This is your look ahead video, and I thought it's Friday, so we'll take a little bit of a peek further ahead. We've got the CANSIPS model available, taking us through January, February and into March as well. Of course, as always, it's a very long way away, isn't it? But it's just interesting to see how these long range models start to perform and what they show. But just before we get to that, interesting developments coming up over the next few hours, actually. Just want to show this jet stream chart for Saturday morning. You see the green colours in here. That's a jet stream speed of 200 knots. So that's best part of, what, 220, 230 miles an hour? So a really strong jet stream getting going across northern Scotland over the next sort of 12, 24 hours or so. So some very windy conditions around. Also highlight the fall off in temperature that's going to be taking place as well. Agreement between the models that we do see this fall in temperature kicking off probably around Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. This is the forecast from the GFS ensemble. They're the maximum temperatures. You see that fall off in temperature here headed into the 9th, which is next Wednesday. So GFS ensemble has that, and the ECMWF's got it as well. This is the 850 from the ECMWF. You see temperatures kind of holding steady there, and then this sharp fall off. Not as cold as was originally forecast by the ECMWF, getting down to sort of zeros, minus ones at 850. So it ain't desperately cold, but it is certainly chilly compared to what we've had. So kind of daytime temperatures. This is for Birmingham, but the shape of the curve is similar across the country. So kind of we saw 12s and 13s, probably going down to daytime temperatures of around 9 degrees. And then you notice this slow fall off here. But look at that little dip taking place into the final third of December. And you remember me telling you about that as well. Now, this is the CFS forecast for December going into early January. Again, you've got to treat it with a pinch of salt, but generally, temperatures holding up. A little bit of a dip in here, which is what we've just seen on the GFS. Can they come back up again? But look at this cold dip here as we go into the back end of the Christmas period. And this idea of the cooler air coming in this final third of the month is one that's certainly accepted. I still think overall temperatures through December are going to be around or just above normal generally when you put the mean in there, you know, average it out across the whole month. But certainly I think things still continue to point to this cooler end to the month. Okay, I said that the CANSIPS model, this is the Canadian long-range model, had become available. This is the 500 millibar flow for January, and what it's trying to do, quite interestingly, is build the heights here across the northeastern parts of Canada, bring real low heights, look through the UK. That's a real strong jet stream that it tries to get going through the UK during the course of January, and temperature-wise, that's what it's going for. It sees this real cold air across the southern part of the states, which is kind of accepted by just about every model at the moment. Cooler air across Greenland, and that feeding into the central western parts of the Atlantic, courtesy of cold air blowing off Greenland there. But UK in more near to above normal temperatures thanks to the westerly flow. We've got to be careful with this. I think it's probably temperatures near to just above normal, but certainly it's showing this strong westerly flow blowing through the UK, much of northern and western Europe during January, and that really is a jet that's just doing this sort of shape, screaming through here, bringing those mild conditions. Now, February. There we are with February. Bit of a change taking place. Look, this ridge, this build here, is further east. That brings the trough sharper across the UK and builds the ridge here across central and eastern parts of Europe. So it keeps the UK in unsettled conditions. All the hints there of a cooler flow across the UK. But when you look at the temperature prediction for February, actually what it's going for is temperatures still nearer normal here, building the temperatures across Scandinavia. And this kind of hints at lower than normal temperatures getting into the east of Europe here. So probably what we're seeing is some sort of feature that kind of circulates around here, thanks to the area of lower pressure that's going to be there. We then get this feature here, which is pumping in and northerly winds still into the Atlantic here, but we're on the reverse side of the trough, so we're getting that effect taking place. So what it's trying to see is a ridge built like so through the UK and trying to get us into nearer to above normal temperatures. Now, I think February is going to be cooler than that, and I think there's a chance that high pressure that we see towards the east in here in Scandinavia is going to have more of an impact across the UK. And there it is, you can see it here, higher than normal heights up towards the north here. So you would get kind of, it's seeing that flow up here, it's seeing this flow down here, but it's seeing some sort of return flow getting back in here as well. So I don't think it's got it right in terms of temperature. I think it's got it right in terms of pattern, and I still think that February is going to be the coldest of the months. Now, into March, trough still off towards the east, ridge in the Atlantic. So it's doing that sort of pattern. We've got to watch for a block getting into the Atlantic. This sort of pattern taking shape through March, according to the CANSIPS model. That would result in temperatures being nearer normal across the UK, but a higher chance of them being below normal. I think what this is trying to say is the cooler of the air is during towards the middle to the back end of February into the earlier parts of March. And with that sort of pattern, that would lend itself, for me anyway, for my money, that's going to lend itself into a much cooler pattern across the UK. So what can we take from this? Well, yeah, it's a long way away. CANSIPS, I have to say, isn't my favourite, the long ranges. But it sort of backs up the opinion of the idea of the back end of the winter being colder than the first part. And when we look at the CFS equivalence, this is the forecasted temperature from the CFS. There's January, look, milder than normal. There's February, nearer normal temperatures. And there's March, nearer normal temperatures, once again on the cool side. So again, it's going with the ideas that the other models are seeing. And I think we're building this opinion now of February being the one where we're going to see a hit of winter. And perhaps it getting into the idea of a late spring. It seems to be the way that all of the models are going at the moment. Prior to that, probably mild conditions. And just look at December on the CFS. Look at how mild it is across northern parts of Europe and again in January, and it really is February before that eases off. So I think it's confirming the story that we've got out there. I think it's relatively good news for the long range forecast. Of course, anything can happen, can't it? Anything could change, but that's the way things look just at the moment. Now, if you want to forecast for the next couple of days in more detail, then check out Gary's Fast Forecast, which is online now at weatherweb.net. But I'm going to leave you with that for now. Hopefully that's been useful and interesting for you. You know, in the look aheads, what we try and do is give you more technical information and just give you an insight into the workings behind the forecast. So hopefully that's been of interest to you, but I will leave you with that for now. Whatever you do, have a great day, keep the sun shining, and bye for now.